Hi everyone, Elden here, and this is my first inside the project. Super pumped to be having my first track come out on Gradient. I'm going to let this play from the beginning just to get you into the drop, and then we'll go through each of the components and each of the tracks that make up for you, the 61 tracks in total. So I'll give you a listen from the start. Bit of a top lead coming in here with some automation. There's that drop. Okay. So I want to stop that there. A few components that make this up. We'll start from the very beginning. So I have this Atmos layer at the beginning, pretty much all the way through the track. That's giving that real sort of dead mousey sort of vibe to the track that I really love. And then you heard that top lead that I was talking about at the beginning. So let's just show you that there coming in. Now I'm using Serum. So we'll open that up. So it's just a simple 2-voice on oscillator A, 1 on B with some basic shapes, a little bit of cutoff on envelope 2 feeding into the cutoff, and then some automation through this LFO. Just some basic distortion and reverb through there, pumping through the utility, OTT, bit of delay, a compressor, Valhalla, and then rolling off the top and bottom. Now the other part you might have noticed at the beginning of the track are the chords. We lead off with some strings, and this is actually a Spitfire audio strings plugin. Really love the sound of this strings. Pumping into some utility compressor, rolling off the highs and lows, auto filter, auto pan, Valhalla, and into a bit of Soothe 2, just rolling off again some of those unwanted components. This then feeds into the main chord track, which is like an 80s vibe pad. So I have these 80s chords, which are just saw waves, 7-voice unison, a little bit of automation here on the LFOs, and a bit of wobble coming in, which gives it that really cool vibe. So you've got Serum again coming into a compressor, rolling off some lows, automation there into Soothe 2, and a bit more compression at the end to sidechain to our ghost kick. So I do use a ghost kick on all my tracks where I just have a small click basically, but have that channel turned off. Now one of my favorite parts of the track is the arps that come in here. So let's get that soloed so you can have a listen. Now I've got 2 different arps playing here with lots of automation, as you can see. So these come in basically here. I'll just show you a quick MIDI. So just 8 notes playing along, but really getting to open up closer to the drop, which makes all the difference. And really opening up there. Now I do have 2 arps playing here, so we have this synth and this sort of tubular synth. Here really cut through the mix. again, I use pretty much Serum for everything. So this is just a Serum pluck, this top one. So what you're hearing here, again, just as always, multiple voices, really sharp pluck going to the cutoff, bit of delay and reverb. You can see the chain underneath, bit of fresh air that's really bringing the top end to the ARP. And for the one below, you have a preset, a fluty sound, again just a high pluck, high voice oscillator saw wave, coming in, just rolling off some harsh tones into OTT, Valhalla and Soothe. So there we go, there's the ARPs, the top lead chords. Let's have a look at our claps and hats. You can see these come in here. And you can see that I have the claps pretty much filtered in automation. So rolling off that low end, and then when the drop kicks in, they will hit harder. We have a clap build, just a wave file, and a hi-hat. Just play all these components separately for you. So everything coming in just side chained, rolling off the lows there to keep the mix clean. Along with that, we have percussion. So you'll notice things like my real heavy hits here, or the heavy hit into this little breakdown. And then in that first break, you'll notice that little bit of a percussion, just something different, hitting the cymbal, coming into our clap riser there. But one of the parts that I love about this track is the toms which lead in. So pretty simple, toms in the track here. Which are just in a drum rack basically. So just some shakers and automation just to keep that rolling along in the percussion, and then into the breakdown where you'll hear those toms come through again. Okay, so let's now have a look at our kick and bass. I have these bussed together. So I use a kick and bass bus, if that makes sense. So you can see that my kick is up here. I have my bass, my stab bass, high, mid bass, sub bass. Everything is grouped together, but in my bus, I have a glue compressor, which is compressing my kick and my bass all together. You can see I have that ghost kick, which is not turned on, which I side chain everything to. Everyone's got a different way of doing that. That's how I do mine. So let's have a look at the stab bass first. So that comes in closer to the beginning of the track. And that's that really punchy, grindy bass coming through. You can see the presets there. That's coming into the auto filter, delay, compression, and decapitator, one of my favorite distortion plugins or saturators, just to give it that extra bite. And the kick, let's have a look at the kick. I actually have two kicks playing, two kicks coming through actually on top of each other. So there you go. That really punchy kick. And then we add the bass into that. So the bass is actually made up of a few components. So we have the stab bass, which you heard earlier. Then we have this high bass, which I'll show you again. It's here and pretty simple. Just the saw wave, slight automation coming through saturator to give that extra grunge, and highly compressed at the end there, through to our real mean respace So let's start that again here, and you'll hear this guy drop in. Again, nice and simple, 2 saw waves, few voices, but really grungy saw wave coming through. A lot of that's to do with OTT, Facturator coming through, rolling up the low lows into Valhalla Room, and see the Valhalla reverb there to the compressor. So if we take that kick bus just together, you can hear that's really bouncing off there. Any other track in here that we probably haven't, it's a really, really high sort of top noise, not really a bass, that's going there into the build-up. Okay, so that's the claps, percussion, arps, top lead, chords, and the kick and bass there. Next thing is probably the vocals for the track. I'll show you what I've got on the processing. So down the bottom here, I have just some like vocal, highly reverbed intros into parts of the track, into the main vocal, which I have layered.
And all I want to say, and all I want you to feel is my love, is my love, is my love for you.
Bit of OTT. And again.
Love for you.
So nice amount of delay.
And all I want to say,
bit of fresh air and soothe.
and all I want you to feel is my love, is my love, is my love for you.
And then I took some of the vocals and broke them up into little stabs.
Is my love for you.
And then
And the heartbeat kicks
in the break,
when the drums are beating loud, and I can only see the love that you have.
and really the last parts
I need your time.
on the track are things like, you know, the risers and fallers that we've got in here. Pretty straightforward sort of stuff there. And then we have a bit of FX bringing in, you know, some white noise into the track there as well. But altogether, we get a pretty cool sounding track that I hope you guys all love. So one last thing I'll mention is the mastering. So I have a bit of Bark of Dog on the master there, boosting 62 Hertz. Just for me, it boosts the lows of the track without it getting too muddy. So I do love that plugin. We've got Newfangled there as giving it a bit of limiter gain. And yeah, that's not much else there on the master. But the other thing is the automation. You can see it's -4 into the drop, going to 0, and then rolling off all the way back down to -4, and then at the next drop back up to 0. So that's also giving it that really punchiness in the drop. So there you go, everyone. There is Inside the Project for you. I really hope you guys love the track, out now on Gradient, and I'm super proud and humbled to be part of the label. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one.